So Matt treated this demo exercise as a teaching experience and a bonding experience. Go ahead, Matt.
All right, so before I get directly into the demo, I want to tell you a little story about where it came from and explain why we're looking at pretty pictures here on the screen. So I've been working for quite a while now with some really talented people working on building out our API platform. I wanted to come up with some demonstration of how you can use those APIs to kind of creatively solve some real world problem in insurance. So how you can take these things, put them together, mash them up with other services, and solve a real world problem. So I've been in the insurance technology industry for about 15 years. I'm a technology guy, not really an insurance guy, kind of at heart. So I looked at, my friends and tried to figure out, okay, what kind of real world example could I come up with for my life for a insurance example? So what I thought of was, I have a friend, Molly, who is a photographer. She travels all over the world. She takes photographs sometimes for National Geographic. So she has her own business doing this photography work. And I figured she probably needs insurance for her expensive camera equipment that she brings to do all this work. So I, not knowing insurance myself, I came into work the next day and I I work in insurity, so I can walk down the hallway and I can find all this wealth of insurance knowledge. So I walked up to someone in the office and we had a discussion about what insurance would look like for Molly. So we talked about inland marine as a line of business that has insurance for photographic equipment. So we thought, okay, how about if we pretend that we have an insurance company or maybe a small portion of a larger insurance company that's trying to put together a product and sell it to photographers. So we talked about what kind of coverages we might have available. We talked about what kind of limits we might want to provide and came up with what you may or may not be able to see on the screen here. This is a little email that we thought we could send out to Molly or people like her and say, if you're interested in getting a quote for insurance for your photographic equipment, please reply to this email if you're interested. Tell us about where your company, what state your company is in, so we could look up the right rates, and give us an idea of how much your photographic equipment is worth. Okay? So we decided that with that small amount of information, and kind of defaulting the kind of coverages and limits that we want to include in a kind of a base policy, we could come up with a quote, get back to them and let them know how much they could get their insurance for. So in this case, Molly might reply, she's saying here, sure, I'd be interested in a quote. My business is in Connecticut, my camera and lights are worth around $75,000. How much would a quote cost me? All right, so then we thought, now what can we do with this information? So I could, of course, use our new API platform and put together maybe a really quick user interface that somebody in my fake insurance company could use to quickly put together a quote. They could sit there, wait for the emails to come and read the email and reply with a quote. But we thought maybe we could do even better than that. Right? So what we're looking at on the screen right now, this is a low-code tool that this particular one comes from Microsoft, that allows people to quickly and easily build applications by just basically dragging and dropping functionality onto the screen. So this is where my son comes in. So over the weekend, this is very similar to the kind of tools that they actually teach with in elementary school now. They have kids dragging and dropping if statements onto a screen. So we actually sat together and did some of this ourselves. What you're seeing here isn't like a description of the program, it is the program. This is how you can write programs nowadays. So what we thought was, we have available in our Insurity API ecosystem the ability to create quotes. I can create a quote, I can rate a quote, I can do all that kind of stuff. We also have out there in the world services like the one at the top here from Google that lets you read an email, take an action when an email comes in. A little ways down here, we have another service from Microsoft that does AI processing, entity extraction on natural language. So it can actually take the data from the email, send it through an AI program, and pull out the information in the email. Then a little bit further down in the program, I can feed that data that I got out of the email into our APIs that let me create a quote, and then I can feed that data that I got out of the email into our APIs that let me create a quote, and then I can feed that data that I got out of the email into our APIs that let me create a quote, and then I can feed that data that I got out of the email into our APIs that let me create a quote, and then I can feed that data that I got out of the email into our APIs that let me create a quote, and then I can feed that data that I got out of the email into our APIs that let me create a quote, and then I can feed that data that I got out of the email into our APIs that let me create a quote, and then I can feed that data that I got out of the email into our APIs that let me create a quote, and then I can feed that data that I got out of the email into our APIs that let me create a quote, and then I can feed that data that I got out of the email into our APIs that let me create a quote, and then I can feed that data that I got out of the email into our APIs that let me create a quote, and then I can feed rate the quote, and then go down and call Google again to send an email back with an estimated premium. So these are all little things that I could just grab, drag and drop, add to this program in minutes or hours. And because our APIs and all these APIs that come from these third parties are all, they're all modern, RESTful, JSON-based applications, it works seamlessly. So I can just drag and drop them together and then let it run. So take a look here. So I sent that email earlier, and while we were talking, I got this email back. It says we ran some calculations. We can offer you insurance of up to $75,000 of camera equipment for about $125. So of course I can make another call to break that down into monthly installments for them. It says here, if you're interested, please click the link below. Haven't done the link below, but we can have a link below that you click that uses our APIs to say, offer them 3 different tiers of coverage or something like that. They can get the bronze, the gold, or the platinum plan. All of those things we can do with the APIs without necessarily building, configuring the application, because we have access to what coverages we're going to add, what limits we're going to provide, and we can build all those things basically in real time as we want to do it. Okay? So that's an example of the power of the Insurity platform kind of meshed together with the power of other APIs out there in the world to solve the business problem. Okay?